There's a little movie coming called John Wick 4, which of course this franchise is fantastic. It's even one of these incomparable kind of franchises. I can't think of another franchise that you can compare John Wick to, right? It's not that movie and it's not that movie. It's really its own kind of identity. As a matter of fact, now, what's that one Finnish movie, Sisu?
Yeah, the World War II John Wick.
Like whether it's Atomic Blonde or Sisu or whatever, now you're getting other movies and franchises being compared to John Wick, but I can't think of any movies that John Wick compares to. It's just very unique. They created Gun Fu. I mean, it's fantastic. We got the 4th film coming out now. Well, let's go back over and look at this again. As we start looking at the box office projections, right? How has the John Wick franchise done so far as their opening weekends go? Well, the first John Wick, which let's be honest, we're all friends here. We'll be honest. Nobody gave a shit about a new Keanu Reeves movie coming out at the time. Everybody forgets that now because Keanu Reeves is a national treasure.
There was that Eli Roth movie where the 2 girls come and terrorize him in his house.
Yeah, but that was even after John Wick.
That came after.
That came after the first John Wick.
Yeah, but
nobody saw that.
Yeah.
But before that movie came out, nobody cared about new Keanu Reeves movies, right? So nobody cared, whatever. The trailer was really good, though. Had $14 million opening weekend. Everybody loved it. So when John Wick 2 came out, look at that. It more than doubled. The second film had an opening weekend of $30.4 million. Huge. And that trajectory continued in a big way. John Wick Chapter 3 didn't just go up by 10%. It, again, probably about a 90% jump, with the third film making $56.8 million. And now it's getting even bigger because now they're saying the third film is going to open anywhere between what Deadline is calling a robust $60 to $70 million. Again, we're not talking incremental jumps and gains. You know, hey, listen, it's great if Creed 2 opens at 35.5 and Creed 3 can open to 39 or 40. That's the trajectory, but that's incremental. And that's still good. That's positive. That's awesome. But we're talking about this franchise where every single one of their movies is jumping leaps and bounds over the previous one, showing that even as this franchise gets older and has been around a while now, and it's getting a little bit long in the tooth, it's just gaining more and more of an audience as people are discovering John Wick for the first time. They're going out to see the openings. And listen, I'm going to go out again. I think this $70 million is conservative. I think it's going to open to over 70. I'm not saying 95 million or 100 million. I'm not saying that, but I think it could go over this $70 million projection. Chris, when we look at a franchise like John Wick, like we look at Creed, we can say it's building on the history of the franchise of the Rocky universe. It's establishing great new characters that we enjoy. They bring the heart of all that kind of stuff. But as we look at John Wick, and we're seeing now these projections, and this is going to be the biggest opening ever for it, what do you attribute that to? Why are people continuing to come back to John Wick in bigger and bigger numbers? What do you think?
Because it's fucking cool, man. Because it's so great. Oh my gosh. I mean, not only is he a cool assassin, he has a heartbreaking backstory. And the more you learn about John Wick, the more you're like, oh my gosh, not only do I, understand his need for revenge, and all of us have had that moment where like, in a world I would, but you also, he's got this really great backstory as well. And then a thing that I think a lot of people overlook, but the reason why we all enjoy it is these action sequences. Not only are they featuring multiple types of, martial arts and combat and everything, the cinematography is actually outstanding.
Yeah, it is.
Because it lets all this action breathe. It lingers on things. And a lot of that has to do with the choreography of this. They wanted this to be wildly realistic and grounded, despite the big, huge circumstances that are happening here. Everything feels very, very real. But I think when you think about an action movie, this one delivers so much more than your typical popcorn film, right? You've got great characters, you have beautiful imagery, and you've got really, really fucking awesome stunts. It checks everything. And puppy revenge, come on.
And here's the thing too, with their action sequences, because this, look, as great as the gun fu is, it could very easily get very monotonous. But every single movie finds ways to create new ways to have this fantastic action. Whether it's something like, I think the beginning of chapter 3, he's got this fight in the library.
Oh,
Right? Like that fight was awesome. Then he's fighting ninjas on motorcycles with swords. I mean, they keep coming up with these fantastic, incredible ways to do things.
While on horseback.
And on horseback. Yep, on horseback. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video, Rocket Money. The average person has around 12 paid subscriptions. Think about that. If you think you're only subscribed to a handful of services, you might want to double check. With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify and cancel all of your unwanted subscriptions. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want and don't even use. Simply find the subscription you don't want and press cancel, and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. No more long hold times with customer service or tedious emailing back and forth. Rocket Money makes canceling subscriptions as easy as the click of a button. My wife Ann and I moved out of Burbank 2 years ago, and one of the first things I discovered when I loaded up Rocket Money was that I was still paying for a gym membership I haven't even been to in Burbank in 2 years. So stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Campea. That's rocketmoney.com/Campea. rocketmoney.com/Campea. Anyway, Rob, you've seen the projections. Do you think John Wick 4 can hit these numbers? And if so, what is that magic juice that is making it just keep growing in popularity?
well, first of all, yeah, and I think it's probably going to overperform as well because this movie looks spectacular. But I think, look, it begins, like with you said, Chris, it's just fucking cool. But what's really interesting about this franchise is you could have told this story. It could have been a lonely guy whose wife dies of cancer and she leaves him a dog and he's just a normal dude. And these douchebags come and want his car. They break into his house, kill his dog and take everything he's got. It could have been a normal everyman guy.
If they didn't kill the dog.
But
that would have been like nobody, though, right?
It would have been like a half dozen other action. But what they did do is this is also a fantasy film. It takes place in a fantasy realm. The world it takes place in is not our world. It's sort of our world once removed, where there's assassins' hotels and there's a code of honor, and you need certain coins to get into certain rooms. And there's this, if you break this code of ethics, the entire world comes hunting you down. And there's all these different fiefdoms, and so they've taken this action concept and then they've overlaid a fantasy context over it. I mean, yeah, it's assassins, but you might as well call it, could have been in space or anywhere. But so you've got these two things going in parallel. You've got this great action franchise, and then you have this fantasy franchise at the same time. And there's lore. You know, you're building. I mean, Larry Fishburne's character is called the Bowery King. Like, how did he become the Bowery King? I don't know. Why is there a Bowery King in the Bowery in New York? You know, it's like, but there is, and so there's all this, and it's global. So, you know, we might be going about our business, but John Wick is out there. Plus, then you get Keanu Reeves to play John Wick, you know, one of the nicest people in Hollywood. And you've given him the headshot. He takes dudes. I mean, how many people does he shoot? It's so awesome. I mean, in this trailer, we were talking about it. He shoots a guy in the head like 5 times and then pulls the knife out of the back of his neck that he'd already stuck in it. I mean, the action again, it's got a fantasy bent to it, but it stays grounded. And to your point, the cinematography, these movies are delicious to watch. It's like putting your favorite meal, whatever that is. If it's surf and turf, you got lobster and steak, whatever it is you eat. This is like watching your favorite meal on the screen because it looks so good.
It's popcorn with Himalayan sea salt.
And then there you go. But that's what's so awesome about these movies. I mean, and John, when I went and saw this with a friend of mine the Saturday it opened, we didn't have many expectations. We're like, we hadn't seen each other. Let's go see this movie and get a pizza or something. We walked out of that movie elated. Like, this movie fucking I mean, it was.
You know what's funny too about here's you brought up Keanu Reeves, and a lot of people. Keanu Reeves is one of. I'm trying to think of another actor. I'm sure there's probably one or two examples. Keanu Reeves is one of the only actors I've ever thought about who had to have two career resurrections, right?
Yeah.
Because remember, prior to The Matrix, right? He had gone through a number of years without a lot going on and stuff like that. And then Matrix comes out and he's Neo. He's popular. He enjoys some popularity for a while and then kind of faded away again. He was doing a lot of these smaller films that nobody was going to see and all kinds of stuff. And then came John Wick. And all of a sudden, good Canadian kid John Wick, or good Canadian kid Keanu Reeves, I should say, as again is resurfaced and is back again. So I can't think of a lot of performers that have had like multiple comebacks like he has.
I would agree with you because the first time I ever saw Keanu Reeves was in Tim Hunter's movie River's Edge, which is an incredible indie film from, I want to say, the late 80s. And then he did things like he was in My Own Private Idaho with River Phoenix. So he had this really great career as sort of an indie up-and-coming leading man. And then he did Coppola's Dracula. And everyone made fun of his accent, and it's sort of completely...
Please, sir, I'm looking for a room. Yeah,
it
not
completely,
great.
or as I used to call it, Bombfire of the Vampires, but that wasn't fair. Coppola is one of my favorite directors, and Gary Oldman's amazing, but and it looks incredible, and it has great music,
and
but it's not great. So, but he got derailed, and then, like you said, he did these movies trying to get his career back, but then Speed, Speed, and The Matrix, boom, and then he came back, and now he's back again. Like it's almost like a third resurgence, a Keanu-sence.
That's why I love that line in the first where he says, "Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I'm back."
Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking I'm back
for the third time.
A great line. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Right now, the box office projections are saying that John Wick 4 is going to open to the biggest in the franchise history, just getting more and more and more popular. What do you attribute that to? Do you think it will hit those numbers? Do you think it'll come in under them? Maybe you think it's going to exceed them by a lot. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.